Welcome back, this is part 8 of the Suzuki VS1400 teardown. Before we get too far into this video, I'm just going to do a quick job on the bike. That's something I've been wanting to do since we started this, and that is get it up in the air so I can get the footboard mounting system off so that I can finally remove that side exhaust. I don't know if you've spotted it in the previous videos, but the front exhaust is still attached. And the reason for that is because it kind of goes through, if you've got Cobra Drag Pipes, you'll know what I mean. It goes through where the footboard plate goes under the bike. It fits down the side of one of those, and I just can't get it to come out. It's got bits of metal brackets and stuff all over it, so it won't come out. So I'm going to do that first, and then we shall have a think about where we want to go from there. So let's do that. So underneath here we've got a set of Allen key bolts or torque bolts, and all I'm going to do is slacken these off. Trying to do this as gently as possible so the bike doesn't fall down on top of me. So it looks like we were already missing a bolt. This one here, I think, wasn't it? Nothing's come out of this one, so we need to remedy that. You want to make sure you've got all of your bolts holding on your footboards and your controls. There we go. There it is. Okay. Drop this one down a little bit more. Now let's see if we can get that exhaust out. So just to show those of you what I mean by the exhaust going down the side of the frame, does that, and if there's not enough slack underneath it in that bracket that we've just loosened off, you can't actually bring it forward. You've got a bracket at the front, at the rear here, and you've got all of this good stuff over the top of it, and then you've got the tyre at the front. And I really tried to get rid of the exhaust without having to do this now, but not the end of the world. Right, that's still not going to come out, so I'm going to take the whole bracket off. Quite a heavy lump. And I've got I've got brake light switches and stuff to think about. I hear crunching. That's never good. Oh, we're free! We're free! Finally! Oh my god, you see the terrible condition of the exhaust. But it's out, it's no longer dragging along the floor, which is nice. Okay, so now that the exhaust is out, we can actually inspect it properly. And I gotta say, this is a very poor looking exhaust. I feel sorry for it. These have got to be from the factory. They've got to be. These are at least 15 years old, if not older. If they've come with the bike, that would explain all of this. It's not going to come out very well on camera, but there is a huge amount of pitting. Now, we'll see what we can do, see if we can clean them up in some way before they go back on the bike. If they don't clean up okay, then we'll probably have to try and source a better looking or better set of exhaust pipes. I still want to go with the twin drags. I think that looks great. Either the twin drags or the sort of stock one exhaust either side of the bike. I'm hoping by the end of next week the engine will be out. So just getting the bike up on the jack has made a huge difference. Always put straps on. Can really sort of shake her about, and I can move her as well. If you are thinking about getting a jack and you don't have the space for one of the big sort of bench jacks, This is a great alternative. It's very affordable. Here in the UK, you can pick them up on Amazon and eBay for around 60 quid. Keep your eye on places like Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree for second-hand ones. It has just been Christmas, so a lot of people that maybe have had these for a year or 2 years, maybe their partners and spouses have actually bought them a gift, or they've bought it for themselves and they've upgraded to the big bench one, and maybe they're going to sell this one. So it's always worth this time of year keeping an eye out on second-hand websites to buy these sorts of things. A good friend of mine lent me this one. He hasn't got his bike at the moment. He's probably not going to need it back for a good 2 or 3 months, so he's told me I can use this one for as long as I need, which is fantastic news, because now I can start stripping down the front of the bike, the rear of the bike, and the engine can come out. Hopefully. Let's see what we can find to do for the rest of the evening. Okay, so the next thing I want to take care of is this Speedo. Now we've got 2 things to think about here. We've got the Speedo cable itself, and then we've got the actual electronics for the Speedo as well. So we've got 2 things to take note of. I'm going to take this blanking plate off here, and that should expose a couple more bolts. That there is just the blanking plate for the back of the Speedo. We're going to give that a rub down and clean that up. I'm going to disconnect the Speedo cable, which is this one here. That looks around about 16. Oh, one away. 17. That's the one. So, now this Speedo cable of mine here is in pretty good nick as far as I'm aware. Yep, it could be better. It's not too bad. If you ever want to test whether or not your Speedo cable is working properly, make sure your front wheel is off of the ground. It actually rotates. You see it rotating? So that Speedo's okay. The 2 sets of cables, one supplies the Speedo, the backlighting for the Speedo, and one supplies the actual control board on the front, which is where your indicators are illuminated, etc. So we've got 2 different cables going into the Speedo in the same wiring harness. We've got one that supplies the backlighting for the actual Speedo itself, and then we've got another set of wires that goes to the front control board, which is where your indicators would be illuminated when you press the indicator button, etc. Now we need to undo the 2 bolts that are securing the Speedo itself to the actual frame. And you can see the Speedo wanting to come free. And the Speedo and the controls come out together. So now that the Speedo is removed from the actual yokes themselves, we can go down to the other side of the wheel and we can take the other end of this Speedo cable off. Your Speedo cable runs all the way down this side of your fork and into the front here. Now you want to get yourself a set of more grips of sorts, and go ahead and just loosen off. Now move that out of the way. There we are. Now the other end of your Speedo is free. Now you see this little slot here? That little slot has to be put back correctly inside here. It'll only go in one way, and you want to make sure that it's lined up with the flat piece of metal that's inside there. Sort of like a flathead screwdriver. It will only go in one way. If it doesn't go in properly, your Speedo's not going to work, and you're probably going to mash this up, and you're going to need a whole new Speedo cable. So the last thing to do is to feed it up out of the bike frame. We can't do it from the top down because that 17mm bolt on the top, 17mm nut, is too big to come through the yoke, so we need to feed it back up through the bike. So just very gently feed this up. Make sure you don't hit your paintwork with it or anything like that. Up through the yoke. And there's your Speedo cable. Now to put it all back in, just watch this video in reverse. So all I'm doing here is reassembling the Speedo, and in order to make sure that everything is as it should be, I've reassembled, and then I'm going to put a flathead screwdriver in the opposing end of the Speedo, and I'm going to twist it as fast as I can, and if it's connected correctly, the needle should just jump a little bit. And yep, I don't know if you can spot that. Let's see if we can get you a better view here. So if I rotate it as fast as I can, you can see the Speedo jump up and down, which is good. It means the Speedo cable is functioning correctly, and this, if I decide to, can go back on the bike. If not, one of you lucky people might be able to get your hands on it. There's going to be a few bits and pieces that are going to be up for sale, so if you need stock parts, might be worth putting a comment below and let me know what you're after. No guarantees, but you never know. Okay guys, so that's it for today. I know it wasn't a really in-depth kind of video, but I'm trying to cover everything on the bike. So there's going to be some parts that are more in-depth and some parts that are a little bit easier and not as complicated as what some of you may think they are. The Speedo is off. The bike is now raised up into the air, ready for us to get at the engine itself. We've still got to remove the clutch and the plates. I'm debating whether or not to do that while it's on the jack, or whether when the engine's on the actual bench. I'm not sure yet. I think the next video we'll take those front forks off so that we can get the indicator brackets off, because they won't be going back on. If any of you are in need of some OEM Suzuki Intruder brackets for the front indicators, let me know, because they will be available. Yeah, that's it for today guys. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share the video, and if you've got any requests or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll always get back to you. Take care guys, and I'll see you in part 9. All the best.